The myth of Narcissus, as told in Greek mythology, is one that explores the dangers of self-obsession and vanity. According to Ovid, Narcissus was the child of the river god Cephissus and the nymph Liriope, who was swept away by his overwhelming beauty. His story, tragic yet cautionary, offers a rich narrative about identity, self-love, and the human propensity to be captivated by one's own image. Narcissus, a strikingly handsome youth, was pursued by many, both mortal girls and nymphs. However, he rejected them all. One nymph, Echo, fell deeply in love with him, but because of a curse placed upon her, she could only repeat the last words spoken by others. Echo's desperate love for Narcissus went unanswered, and in her despair, she withered away until only her voice remained, echoing through the mountains and forests. This rejection and the suffering it caused led other scorned lovers to seek vengeance. Nemesis, the goddess of retribution, took it upon herself to punish Narcissus for his cruelty and pride. One day, while Narcissus was drinking from a spring, he saw his reflection in the water and fell in love with it, not realizing that it was merely an image of himself. Captivated by his own beauty, he could not look away and, consumed by his obsession, he slowly wasted away. According to some versions of the myth, he died by the water's edge, still gazing at his reflection. In the place where he died, a beautiful flower bloomed, which was named the Narcissus, or the daffodil. This myth has had a lasting impact on Western culture, and its meanings have evolved over time. The etymology of the name Narcissus itself reflects this notion of overwhelming self-absorption. It is derived from the Greek word narc, meaning numbness or stupor. This root also connects to the modern term narcotics, hinting at the intoxicating, numbing effect Narcissus' self-love has on him. The narcissus flower, often associated with the myth, has a powerful fragrance that, in some interpretations, can be seen as a metaphor for the numbing allure of Narcissus' own image, a scent that is irresistibly captivating, much like the narcotic pull of vanity. The myth's connection to modern psychology is where we encounter the term narcissism. The behavior of Narcissus, so fixated on his own reflection, became the archetype for a personality trait that involves excessive admiration of oneself. The term narcissism, coined in the early 20th century, draws from this mythological tale. It refers not just to self-love, but to an unhealthy obsession with oneself, a lack of self-awareness, and a detachment from the world beyond one's own reflection. This concept would later be studied by psychoanalysts such as Sigmund Freud, who linked it to developmental stages in human psychology. However, the myth of Narcissus holds deeper meanings than merely self-love. It speaks to the profound human struggle with identity and the danger of not knowing oneself. Narcissus was not only in love with his reflection, but was also unable to recognize who he truly was. In some interpretations, his tragedy is not just about vanity, but about the inability to distinguish between self-image and self-awareness. When Narcissus gazed at his reflection, he fell in love with the idea of himself, but he never truly met himself in a deeper, more meaningful way. His love was not for his true self, but for the illusion of himself, which is why he could never escape it. This deeper reading of the myth suggests that Narcissus' downfall was not just the act of loving himself, but rather the failure to understand who he truly was. The story of Narcissus serves as a poignant metaphor for today's obsession with self-image and the rise of narcissism in modern culture. In our social media-driven world, the myth feels especially relevant. Like Narcissus, many individuals today are captivated by their own reflections, often through carefully curated online profiles or social media accounts. The mirror of modern technology, whether in the form of selfies or online personas, has become a tool through which people can become enamored with their own image. This obsession, while seemingly harmless at first, can lead to deeper issues of self-worth, mental health, and a detachment from genuine human connection. The concept of narcissism in psychology today also mirrors the original myth. Narcissistic personalities are often characterized by an excessive need for admiration, a lack of empathy, and a deep-seated insecurity beneath the facade of confidence. The myth of Narcissus, when examined through a modern psychological lens, suggests that narcissistic behavior may not only stem from self-love, but also from a fundamental disconnection from one's true self. Narcissus' tragic end reminds us that without self-awareness and a sense of real identity, the pursuit of superficial beauty or validation can ultimately be destructive. The connection between Narcissus myth and contemporary narcissism points to the timeless nature of human psychology. Whether in ancient Greece or in the digital age, the dangers of becoming lost in one's own reflection and neglecting a deeper sense of self are ever present. Narcissus' tale, then, is not only a tragedy of vanity but also a cautionary one about the peril of mistaking illusion for reality, a theme as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Thus, Narcissus myth is not only a tale of tragic beauty and vain youth, but also a powerful reflection on the human condition. The myth and its enduring legacy remind us that to know oneself is not to be mesmerized by mere reflection, but to seek the deeper truth beyond the surface, a truth that does not lie in the illusion of perfection, but in the acceptance of one's true nature.